Hello, friends. Friends, if you also want to clear your real estate exam on your very first attempt, or if you have any doubts regarding the syllabus or the exam pattern, then I request all of you to watch this video completely from start to finish. Besides, I've also created a playlist for all of you where many questions are available for free for you to practice. And these are the same questions that will be asked in your exams. So I request all of you to watch this video from start to finish and also watch the other videos on the channel. Alright friends, let's start this video now.
Question number 1. A seller signs an exclusive agency listing. During the listing period, a second broker introduces the buyer who purchases the property. Which is correct? A. The seller owes no commission. B. The listing broker generally earns the commission. C. Both brokers split the commission equally. D. The buyer pays both brokers. Correct answer. B. The listing broker generally earns the commission. An exclusive agency listing gives the listing broker commission rights unless the seller alone procures the buyer. Question number 2. A buyer submits an offer stating, acceptance must be communicated by noon Friday. The seller signs Friday morning, but the broker notifies the buyer Friday evening. What is the best answer? A. The seller may enforce the contract. B. Earnest money creates a contract. C. The offer automatically extends until midnight. D. Acceptance may be ineffective because it was communicated late. Correct answer, D. Acceptance may be ineffective because it was communicated after the deadline. Timely communication of acceptance is generally required for contract formation. Question number 3. A homeowner installs expensive custom bookshelves that are permanently attached to the wall before listing the home. Unless excluded by the contract, how are they generally classified? A. Fixtures. B. Trade fixtures. C. Personal property. D. Emblements. Correct answer A. Fixtures, permanently attached items generally become part of the real property. Question number 4. A lender approves financing equal to 88% of a $750,000 purchase price. What is the buyer's down payment? A. $75,000. B. $84,000. C. $90,000. $660,000. Correct answer C. $90,000. A 12% down payment on $750,000 equals $90,000. Question number 5. A broker learns a property is subject to a recorded mechanics lien. A buyer asks whether any recorded claims affect title. What should the broker do? A. Say the lien disappears at closing. B. Recommend title insurance only. C. Refer every question to the lender. D. Disclose the known recorded lien. Correct answer. D. Disclose the known recorded lien. Known material title issues should be disclosed when legally required. Question number 6. A buyer and seller agree to replace the original purchase agreement with a new contract containing different terms. What is this called? A. Novation. B. Assignment. C. Rescission. D. Amendment. Correct answer A. Novation. A novation replaces an existing agreement with a new one accepted by the parties. Question number 7. A landlord refuses to allow a tenant with a disability to keep a trained service animal despite a no pets policy. Which is correct? A. The landlord may always enforce the policy. B. The tenant automatically owns the property. C. Fair housing laws may require an exception. D. Service animals are treated as ordinary pets. Correct answer. C. Fair housing laws may require an exception. Service animal accommodations may be required under applicable fair housing laws. Question number 8. A property owner grants a neighbor the permanent right to use a private road to reach a landlocked parcel. Which interest was most likely created? A. License. B. Easement appurtenant. C. Leasehold estate. D. Life estate. Correct answer, B, easement appurtenant. An easement appurtenant benefits another parcel of land. Question number 9. An investor compares two similar apartment buildings. One consistently generates higher net operating income. Which property will generally command the higher value? A, the property with lower insurance costs, only. B, the property with the higher net operating income. C, the newer building regardless of income. D, the one with the larger parking lot. Correct answer, B, the property with the higher net operating income. Higher net operating income generally supports greater value for income-producing property. Question number 10. A closing is scheduled tomorrow. During the final walkthrough, the buyer discovers the seller removed a built-in fireplace insert included in the contract. What should the buyer do first? Resolve the issue before closing. B, close and negotiate later. C, cancel automatically. File a lawsuit immediately. Correct answer, A, resolve the issue before closing. Contract disputes involving fixtures should be addressed before closing. Question number 11. A buyer purchases property under a valid option contract. Before the option expires, the buyer exercises the option. What must the seller generally do? A, sell the property according to the option terms. B, renegotiate the purchase price. C, accept higher competing offers. D, cancel the option without notice. Correct answer, A, sell the property according to the option terms. A valid option contract binds the seller if the buyer timely exercises the option. Question number 12. A homeowner dies, leaving property to 3 children through a valid will. Which legal process generally transfers ownership? A, foreclosure. B, probate. C, escheat. D, partition. Correct answer, B, probate. Probate supervises the legal transfer of property under a valid will. Question number 13. A property owner leases space to a retail business. The tenant installs removable display shelves for business operations. Before moving out, who generally owns the shelves? A, the landlord automatically. B, the lender. C, the tenant if removed properly. D, the city. Correct answer, C, probate. The tenant if removed properly. Trade fixtures usually remain the tenant's property if removed without significant damage. Question number 14. A buyer obtains a loan covering 92% of an $875,000 purchase price. What is the down payment? A, $80,500. B, $70,000. C, $92,000. D, $805,000. Correct answer, B, $70,000. An 8% down payment on $875,000 equals $70,000. Question number 15. A buyer discovers a recorded judgment lien against the seller before closing. What is the greatest concern? A, the property's zoning changes automatically. B, the appraisal becomes invalid. D, the purchase contract terminates automatically. Correct answer, B. The lien may affect clear title. Judgment liens may need resolution before marketable title can be conveyed. Question number 16. A seller intentionally makes a false statement about a home's foundation to persuade a buyer to purchase it. This is most likely A, puffing. B, fraudulent misrepresentation. C, comparative advertising. D, negligence. Correct answer, B, fraudulent misrepresentation. Knowingly false material statements may constitute fraud. Question number 17. A homeowner defaults on mortgage payments. The lender accelerates the remaining loan balance before foreclosure. Which clause allows this? A, defeasance clause. B, habendum clause. C, acceleration clause. D, escalation clause. Correct answer, C, acceleration clause. An acceleration clause makes the remaining loan balance immediately due after default. Question number 18. A buyer requests proof that the seller legally owns the property before closing. Which document provides the strongest evidence? A. Closing disclosure. B. Loan estimate. C. Property survey. D. Preliminary title report. Correct answer D. Preliminary title report. A preliminary title report identifies ownership and recorded title issues. Question number 19. A buyer wants to assign contractual rights to another purchaser before closing. Unless prohibited by the contract, this is generally A. Assignment, B. Novation, C. Rescission, D. Subrogation. Correct answer A. Assignment. Assignment transfers contractual rights unless restricted by the agreement. Question number 20. A broker advertises guaranteed 20% annual appreciation. Which statement is correct? A. Acceptable marketing. B. Proper if the seller approves. C. An improper guarantee of future value. D. Required investment disclosure. Correct answer C. An improper guarantee of future value. Brokers should never guarantee future market performance. Question number 21. A seller accepts a backup offer after already entering a binding purchase contract with another buyer. What is the purpose of the backup offer? It automatically replaces the first contract. B. It becomes effective only if the first contract fails. C. It cancels the original agreement immediately. It guarantees the backup buyer the property. Correct answer B. It becomes effective only if the first contract fails. A backup offer takes effect only if the primary contract is terminated. Question number 22. A property owner transfers ownership into a revocable living trust while remaining the trustee. What is the primary purpose? A. Avoid all property taxes. B. Guarantee appreciation. C. Simplify estate administration. D. Eliminate existing liens. Correct answer C. Simplify estate administration. Living trusts commonly help manage assets and simplify estate transfer. Question number 23. A buyer purchases a condominium. Which ownership right is unique to condominium ownership? A. Exclusive ownership of the building's roof. B. Ownership of common areas with other unit owners. C. Exclusive ownership of all exterior walls. D. Ownership of the entire land parcel. Correct answer B. Ownership of common areas with other unit owners. Condominium owners typically share ownership of common elements. Question number 24. A lender approves financing equal to 95% of a $540,000 purchase price. What is the buyer's down payment? A. $27,000. B. $54,000. C. $513,000. Correct answer. A. $27,000. A. 95% loan requires a 5% down payment. Question number 25. A homeowner fails to pay property taxes for several years. Which lien generally has priority over most other liens? A. Mechanics lien. B. Judgment lien. C. Tax lien. D. Mortgage lien. Correct answer. C. Tax lien. Property tax liens generally receive priority over most other liens. Question number 26. A buyer wants to purchase a property exactly as it exists today, including any visible defects. Which clause is commonly used? A. Escalation clause. B. As-is clause. C. Due on sale clause. D. Acceleration clause. Correct answer B. As-is clause. An as-is clause states the buyer accepts the property's current condition, subject to the contract. Question number 27. A property owner discovers a neighbor has openly used a private pathway across the property for many years without permission. Which legal concept may become relevant? A. Easement by prescription B. Trade fixture C. Novation. D. Cooperative ownership. Correct answer A. Easement by prescription. Long-term unauthorized use may create prescriptive rights under applicable law. Question number 28. A buyer receives both a loan estimate and a closing disclosure during the mortgage process. Which document summarizes the final loan terms and closing costs? A. Purchase agreement. B. Closing disclosure. C. Preliminary title report. D. Appraisal report. Correct answer B. Closing disclosure. The closing disclosure summarizes the final loan terms and settlement costs. Question number 29. A commercial tenant signs a lease requiring payment of rent plus property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Which lease is this? A. Gross lease. B. Percentage lease. C. Net lease. D. Ground lease. Correct answer C. Net lease. A net lease requires the tenant to pay specified operating expenses in addition to rent. Question number 30. A buyer learns a lawsuit affecting ownership of the property has been filed before closing. Which recorded notice typically alerts the public? A. Deed restriction. Lis pendens. C. Easement. D. Encroachment. Correct answer B. Lis pendens. A lis pendens gives public notice of litigation affecting title to real property. Question number 31. A buyer signs a purchase contract containing a time is of the essence clause. The buyer delivers the earnest money 3 days after the required deadline without the seller's approval. Which is correct? A. The deadline is automatically extended. B. The delay may place the buyer in default. C. The contract converts to an option agreement. D. Earnest money is no longer required. Correct answer B. The delay may place the buyer in default. A time is of the essence clause makes contractual deadlines significant. Question number 32. A homeowner refinances an existing mortgage to obtain a lower interest rate while keeping the same property. Which transaction is occurring? A. Assumption. B. Reverse mortgage. C. Refinancing. D. Wraparound loan. Correct answer C. Refinancing. Refinancing replaces an existing loan with a new mortgage. Question number 33. A seller accepts an offer only after the buyer removes the financing contingency in writing. What is the buyer's greatest risk? A. Losing title insurance. B. Paying transfer taxes twice. C. Having to close without financing. D. Waiving the home inspection. Correct answer C. Having to close without financing. Removing the contingency eliminates contractual financing protection. Question number 34. A lender approves a loan covering 75% of a $980,000 purchase price. How much is the buyer's down payment? A. $245,000. B. $735,000. C. $196,000. D. $225,000. Correct answer A. $245,000. A 75% loan requires a 25% down payment. Question number 35. A homeowner transfers ownership but continues living in the property for life. Which estate was retained? A. Leasehold estate. B. Fee simple absolute. C. Easement in gross. D. Life estate. Correct answer D. Life estate. A life estate allows possession for the duration of a person's life. Question number 36. A broker receives two identical offers. One buyer provides proof of available funds, while the other provides no financial documentation. What should the broker do? Present both offers to the seller. B. Reject the undocumented offer. C. Recommend only the cash buyer. D. Decide which buyer is stronger. Correct answer A. Present both offers to the seller. The seller decides after reviewing all presented offers. Question number 37. A landlord owns a 12-unit apartment building completed in 1995. A prospective tenant asks whether federal lead-based paint disclosures are required. Which is correct? A. Yes, because every rental requires them. B. Only if the tenant requests them. C. No, because the building was built after 1978. D. Only for commercial property. Correct answer. C. No, because the building was built after 1978. Federal lead-based paint disclosure requirements generally apply to pre-1978 housing. Question number 38. A homeowner defaults on a mortgage secured by a due-on-sale clause. Later, the homeowner transfers the property without the lender's consent. What may the lender generally do? Ignore the transfer. B. Reduce the interest rate. C. Extend the loan automatically. D. Declare the remaining balance immediately due. Correct answer. D. Declare the remaining balance immediately due. A due-on-sale clause may allow loan acceleration after an unauthorized transfer. Question number 39. A buyer wants to know whether a property's legal boundaries match the fence lines before closing. Which professional is best qualified to verify this? A home inspector. B. Licensed surveyor. C. Appraiser. D. Escrow officer. Correct answer. B. Licensed surveyor. Surveyors determine legal boundaries and identify encroachments. Question number 40. A homeowner installs solar panels permanently attached to the roof before listing the property. Unless excluded by the contract, they are generally classified as A. Personal property. B. Trade fixtures. C. Fixtures. D. Emblements. Correct answer. C. Fixtures permanently attached improvements are generally considered fixtures. Question number 41. A buyer purchases property through a 1031 exchange. To preserve potential tax deferral, what must generally occur? The replacement property must meet applicable exchange requirements. B. The buyer must occupy the property within 30 days. C. The seller pays all capital gains taxes. D. The exchange must involve a primary residence. Correct answer. A. The replacement property must meet applicable exchange requirements. A 1031 exchange must satisfy applicable tax law requirements to qualify. Question number 42. A. Homeowner owns property subject to CC&Rs. Before constructing a detached guest house, what should the owner do first? A. Start construction immediately. B. Review applicable CC&Rs and obtain required approvals. C. Notify only the neighbors. D. Wait until the property is sold. Correct answer. B. Review applicable CC&Rs and obtain required approvals. CC&Rs may restrict improvements beyond local building regulations. Question number 43. A buyer wants to purchase a home but asks the seller to continue making the existing mortgage payments while ownership transfers. Which financing method most closely matches this arrangement? A. Conventional loan. B. Bridge loan. C. Subject to financing. D. Blanket mortgage. Correct answer. C. Subject to financing. Subject to financing transfers ownership while the existing loan remains in place. Question number 44. A lender finances 80% of a $1,150,000 purchase price. How much must the buyer pay as the down payment? A. $184,000. B. $920,000. C. $210,000. D. $230,000. Correct answer. D. $230,000. A 20% down payment on $1,150,000 equals $230,000. Question number 45. A broker receives an offer signed by the buyer, but notices one required signature is missing before presenting it. What should the broker do? A. add the missing signature personally. B, present the incomplete offer without comment. C, obtain the missing signature before presenting the offer when appropriate. D, reject the offer immediately. Correct answer C. Obtain the missing signature before presenting the offer when appropriate. Complete documents reduce uncertainty and help avoid contract disputes. Question number 46. A condominium owner fails to pay required association assessments. Which action may the homeowners association have under applicable law and governing documents? A, cancel the owner's deed. B, record a lien if authorized. C, increase the owner's mortgage balance. D, transfer ownership immediately. Correct answer B, record a lien if authorized. Many associations may record assessment liens as permitted by law. Question number 47. A buyer discovers after closing that the seller intentionally concealed extensive termite damage. Which legal claim is most likely available? A, adverse possession. B, fraudulent misrepresentation. C, specific performance. D, novation. Correct answer B, fraudulent misrepresentation. Knowingly concealing a material defect may constitute fraud. Question number 48. A property owner leases vacant land to a telecommunications company for construction of a cellular tower. Which lease is most appropriate? A, gross lease. B, percentage lease. C, ground lease. D, net lease. Correct answer C, ground lease. Ground leases commonly involve leasing land for long-term improvements. Question number 49. A property owner dies without a valid will and without legal heirs. What generally happens to the property? A, it transfers to the mortgage lender. B, it automatically belongs to neighboring owners. C, it enters foreclosure immediately. D, it may escheat to the state. Correct answer D, it may escheat to the state. Property without legal heirs may transfer to the state through escheat. Question number 50. A broker receives a written purchase offer but delays presenting it because another buyer is expected later that day. The seller gave no such instructions. Which is correct? A, the broker should promptly present the offer. B, waiting for better offers is standard practice. C, the broker may reject the offer without notice. D, presentation depends only on the offer price. Correct answer? A, the broker should promptly present the offer. Brokers generally have a duty to present offers promptly unless lawfully instructed otherwise.
Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do give it a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, take a moment to check out the other videos on the channel and be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you so much everyone for watching.